And this is the deciding game for this match. Up here at the top right of Dual Sight, we have our Zerg player. There's lava bubbling up from beneath his appropriately red hatchery. It is YugiOh. And over here at the left side of the map is our Terran player, who had an extremely strong all-in build in game number 2, but really got outclassed in the longer macro game of game number 1. It is Startail Virus. And yeah, I mean, this does not bode well for Virus. I gotta say, he just got completely outplayed in game number 1 and only managed to get a victory in game number 2 through a kind of a cheesy victory, I guess you could call it, going for that all-in strategy. YugiOh just did not see it coming. He was expecting a longer game. He thought it was a Reactor Hellion expansion build and decided to go for a macro game instead. And it looked like YugiOh was going for a 2-base kind of aggressive build as well, getting that macro hatchery at his main, or his natural in the previous game, but never had a chance to bring that plan to fruition as the game ended too soon with just a giant mass of Marauders and Hellions, and just didn't work out very well. So again, YugiOh going for the spawning pool first, wanting to make sure he doesn't get caught off guard by any early shenaniganry, and also wanting to be a little bit of aggressive, making sure that Virus just can't take his expansion without any contestation, without any contest would be the way of saying that. And it looks like Virus is going to go for something similar here. He has taken his gas, and well, actually, let's see. We might see maybe a Tech Lab into a Reaper expansion might be something he might do. No, he's going to make a Marine first, so he might be saving up for something else instead. Do see Reaper play on this map a lot for some reason. Well, I guess I say for some reason, but one of the reasons is there's a lot of places where you can jump a Reaper into your enemy's base and check out what they're doing. Overlord going over here, he's gonna go around the bottom of the map, and actually this Marine is rallied over to that spot. He actually might catch that Overlord. He's being a little bit risky. He's gonna try and sneak it along the bottom to this location so he can see the natural and get a scope of that, but he actually might lose this Overlord. Now, of course, the Overlord is technically above this ridge, so it's not going to be visible unless he scans or something like that, but it doesn't actually matter. It looks like an SCV, scouting SCV, got taken out over here. Sorry about that, I was obsessed with that Overlord. And he did see the expansion and managed to get into the main and see the spawning pool and the gas that was there, but he doesn't know what else is going on. So anyway, the Overlord's going to survive because he knows the spawning pool is out, so he's not going to send his Marines out. They would just die whilst attacking that Overlord. Depot goes up as the Zerglings approach, and they're not going to be able to get any information here at all. And are they going to try and sneak in when that lifts up? Actually, no, the reactor will complete the wall entirely, so he's not going to be able to get any Zerglings in there at all. I like this, sending another scouting SCV out, hiding in the bushes, but the Overlord can see in the bushes, and he's going to be able to see what the Zerg is up to. Speed is about half done for the Zerglings. And again, YugiOh making several Zerglings, lots of Zerglings here. Sometimes you'll see Zerg players will just make their initial 4 Zerglings and be done with it. They'll have a couple for the towers and a couple to chase around the scouting SCV, and that'll be that, and they'll try and get as many drones in as possible. So he's actually made a significant number of Zerglings here, but again, you never know when a Terran's going to pressure, so sometimes it's prudent to have those Marines out earlier. SCV just running around the main, again, seeing what he can see. He's seen that there's no more drones on gas. He can scout, I don't know if he did check it, but he can scout to see how much gas has been mined, so he knows that there's not going to be a Baneling Nest or anything like that. So he says, alright YugiOh, you're going to play a macro game, let's play a macro game. I'll get my expansion going, even though you can see it right now, and that'll be that. And anyway, a little bit of an attack going in here with those couple Hellions, I guess, but getting picked off very quickly. So yeah, not too big of a deal there. Anyway, if we can check on the units lost tab, the Terran has lost 3 units for 250 minerals, so that would be the SCV and 2 Hellions. There you go. And I like this. He's taking the watchtower. I'd really like to see him put a Ling at each of the towers, or at least at the other tower right now. Although he doesn't really have a ton of Zerglings, so if he wants them to be effective at all, he has to keep them together. But here's the thing, he doesn't actually have anything that can be effective against those Hellions, so it might be more worthwhile to just take the towers, and that's exactly what he's going to do right here with this little Zergling. And Misses the tower. There we go. Back on the tower. There you go. That's a good Zergling. Was on the tower for all of 4 seconds, 3 seconds before the Hellions chased it off. Anyway, let's just go ahead and check out what these players are up to right now. Just again, we're seeing some basic play here. It looks like we're going to see Reactor, Starport, Medivacs, as well as just Mass Marines and that kind of thing. So standard play here from Virus. He's not going for any kind of craziness with no Marines and all Hellions and Marauders this time. He's going to play a straight up game. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to see a straight up game for game number 3, and that's what I like to see. Well, I like to see a longer macro game, because then the better player is more likely to be victorious. The player with the better decision making, the better macro, and the better control is going to be able to accomplish the most. And here he comes in. Actually the Reactor went on the barracks there instead of the starport, making single medevacs out of that unreactored starport. And Virus is just going ahead and macroing up. He still has only the 2 gas in his main. So he doesn't need a ton of gas to produce Hellions and bio units. The lair is almost complete for roasting some Zerglings, and that is why you get those Reactor Hellions, by the way, if you're not aware. Get that early map control, and you can take control of the watchtowers, make sure that nothing is out scouting on the map until there are more high-tech units, or roaches, I guess. All those are my high-tech as well. Anyway, YugiOh has finished his lair. What is he going to do with it? He's making Baneling speed, which is really smart, and I like that he's getting some creep out on the map as well. That really served him well in game number 1. This seems to be the same build that he was trying to do in the game number 2, getting the 1-1, getting the macro hatchery, just powering up off the 2 bases, and now getting that Spire. But yeah, that game number 1, he did really, really well with having good creep spread and speed bangs, and Virus just couldn't deal with the speed bangs on creep. He just, every time they attacked him, he would die to that. So hopefully he will be able to accomplish a little bit more this time and control himself a little better. More creep troopers going down. We have a lot of queens on the map, 1 queen for every hatchery, although this one doesn't like injecting, I guess, and are doing the spawn larva. And we have the 3rd trying to go up over here. Virus is trying to put some pressure on the 3rd. He's going to probably force a cancel here. I don't think he has anything to deal with this. He's trying to morph more Banelings. Oh, and he didn't cancel that. Did not cancel that hatchery. I'm pretty sure, otherwise we would have seen the little mineral thing pop up. Kills off that hatchery, and he's in a lot of trouble here. The Banelings are actually going for a counterattack. What is he doing? He's got some Banelings here, but he's poised most of his troops for a bit of a counterattack. This is not the right decision at all. YugiOh played much better in this series, but it looks like we might see him go down very quickly here to this attack. Finally, he brings all of his forces back to defend. But if he loses all these drones in the process, it's going to be huge. It's going to be too late. Zerglings going in, but there's a nice spot there against the extractor. Where are the Banelings? The Banelings ignoring the battle until after all of the Zerglings are dead. Wow, YugiOh is controlling this horribly. Finally cleans up that army, but that was just bad. That was just absolutely horrible. He knew that army was there. He knew the army was right here. And instead, he sent his units down here to do a counterattack, and he didn't really send enough for an effective counterattack. And then sent them back to his main, engaged with one part of his army after another, engaged with some of his Banelings, then engaged with only his Zerglings, then engaged with only his Banelings, and it finally did clean stuff up, but that was just really, really sloppy, and now just sending in some Zerglings to die. All these Banelings are going to die for free now. Oh, he does finish morphing them, but half of them die, most of them die before they can even escape. Things are going so badly here for YugiOh. This is just actually pretty disappointing here. Some more Banelings are over here hiding in the bushes, hoping those Marines wander into the bushes without having any vision. Oh, is he going to try and trap them? Oh, he's going to try and trap these Marines, catch them off guard. The siege tanks siege up, the Marines stim and try to run away. But again, he lands several Banelings because he just didn't... Actually, I don't know if he even stimmed those Marines to run them away. I think he was hoping the tanks would just finish them off. That would have been a good spot for a sandwich maneuver, for a pincher maneuver, but he didn't go in with the Zerglings from the other side at the same time. Again, a little bit sloppy play coming from YugiOh. Sorry about that. The cord got stuck on the keyboard for a second. Anyway, so both players are playing a little bit sloppy here. Virus is now in the lead in supply as a result of killing off all those Banelings without losing too much, and he's now moving out onto the map. He's got 4 siege tanks. And I like what he's doing here, where he's got this deeper wall, and his rally is rallied inside this deeper wall. So his reinforcements secure him against counterattack. There are a few Mutalisks on the map now. Again, we saw that Spire working away on the production tab, but it is complete. Mutalisks are being created, but I don't think there's enough of them to do any good. More Zerglings heading on the map. Is he going to be able to cancel this hatchery this time? He needs to cancel it. He doesn't cancel the hatchery again. YugiOh is just falling apart here. He is going for a good counterattack, but that's a planetary fortress. He needs to stop attacking the turrets. Well, I guess he wants the Muse to be able to go in and attack that planetary, but here he goes in and he's surrounding this planetary. I think the planetary is going to go down. He's staging some Banelings right outside this location. He was going to try and go in and maybe try and repair that planetary, but it's not going to happen. Mules are going to come in and clean it up. The planetary is burning down, and he needs to get SCVs over there if he's going to repair that planetary, but SCVs would have to go through some Banelings first. In the meantime, this army is pushing into the natural expansion of YugiOh as well, and again, his forces are committed to this counterattack, so he can't really accomplish a whole lot. The planetary goes down at the third, but the third has been killed twice now for YugiOh. The macro hatch goes down as well. He's going to have one more chance to defend this. Here come the Banelings. The Zerglings going in as well. Is it going to be enough? And Virus picks up all of his units in the medevacs. Burrows the Banelings to make sure that the tank can't get another hit on them. Very nicely done, actually, by YugiOh. That could have been a disaster for either player, but both players playing that pretty well. 2-2 is going to complete for YugiOh. Again, going for those quick double upgrades. And like he did in actually all 3 games, he's gone for those quick double upgrades. And I like that a lot. Makes the Zerglings really, really effective. Stim coming in here to join those forces to protect them from the Banelings and Zerglings there. He does have the speed upgrade on the Banelings. You can tell because they're rolling instead of just crawling. I actually didn't even know that until last week. I, for some reason, never made that distinction. Anyway, but yeah, he does have that, but he doesn't have any creep because the creep has been consistently cut off here by the Terran player as he comes in and continually kills off the third base for free. You better cancel this, YugiOh. You had better cancel it this time. Doesn't cancel it. YugiOh doesn't cancel it again. He has lost 900 minerals. 900 minerals from morphing hatcheries that could have easily saved him several hundred minerals more. Banelings are trying to morph in right now. Are they going to be in time? No. The Zerglings are just going into their deaths. It looks like this may be the end. YugiOh, who I thought was the better player before. Oh no, huge Baneling hits. Is it going to be enough to save him? Whoa! Every Marine dies to the massive amount of Banelings. These last few Banelings did morph just in time as the Banelings came in from the opposite side, and it gets cleaned up. A single Mutalisk is trying to chase down all those medevacs by itself. And wow, this is just so bad though. YugiOh is making 2 more hatcheries, 1 down at this third over here. Looks like he's making a macro hatch in his main right now. Since his queens have all died, he's going to need that extra production. Virus though is only on his natural. His main is very close to mined out, and he hasn't managed to resecure that third base. He's actually planning Commencer there now that he's going to turn into a planetary probably. But that is the one reason why YugiOh is still in this game, is because Virus has not managed to take that third during all of this. And so that's an important point there. A lot of Banelings are on the map, and again, it's just, you know, the saving grace. The saving grace for YugiOh is the fact that Virus refuses to control against Banelings and split against them. You know, any better Terran, any other Terran, I think, in the GSL would probably have beaten YugiOh by now at this rate. I hate to say it, but you know, everyone else that we see in the GSL at this level can split their Marines a lot better than Virus has been. Oh, and he just puts his Banelings right in the way for those tanks. I don't know if he knew those tanks were there, but yeah, I don't think he had vision of that. And he's going to get another hatchery, and again, well, at least he's not in a position to not cancel it this time. So that hatchery does go down. SCV's going to go ahead and scout the Scantipede, and also scout this new third coming up down here. And the planetary is not going to be up in time for this small attack of mutas, well, a muta rather, and lings. And wow, this is just a desperate situation for YugiOh. Where are these Banelings going? What are they doing? He might be thinking about setting up Baneling landmines. They do have Burrow upgraded, so he should go for some Baneling landmines, because that kind of thing is exactly what's going to get him back into this game. We haven't seen Virus being particularly diligent about scanning in front of his army as he moves out, so Baneling landmines might be a really good idea. And YugiOh has some really good creep spread at least going on now, like the Overlord's helping him spread the creep. He's actually using the drop creep ability in order to make creep so that the Queen can actually make creep farther out than he normally would. And there's the scan. I mean, he's scanning at the edge of the creep to heal the creep, but he's not scanning for Baneling landmines. So Anyway, this is a precarious situation here. The Zerg player is only at 96 supply. You can see he's got a lot of Zerglings and a good amount of Banelings. A single Mutalisk is on the map. But this army of the Terran is huge. 50, almost 60 Marines in play. The Queen pops almost immediately. Banelings are going for a counterattack, I guess. I guess he's going to, again, sacrifice the third and go for a counterattack. Or no, maybe he just wants him to think that. Now he's coming back in. The tanks are in beautiful position, though. And he cannot approach from that angle. This is just so bad. The single Mutalisk running around, getting pushed back by the Thor. That hatchery goes down very quickly. And without contest, again, nothing. No response. He didn't send in those Zerglings and Banelings. Of course, they might have just died. And maybe he wants to save those. But Virus, this is the kicker here. Virus has again killed off the third. And this time he has secured his own third, and that is crucial because in the past, that's the only reason Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a chance in the game was because Virus had not secured the third of his own. And sending in the Baneling Spurs, the tanks are not sieged, but are the Banes going to get in close enough? Some really good Baneling hits, again due to the lack of splitting by Virus, but it's not enough this time. He's got, look at this, the Zerg has 1,700 gas in the bank. He could make more Banelings, but he doesn't have the minerals because he has not gotten a third ever. He's never had a third mining. I don't think this entire game he's actually had one mining. Now he's forced to distance mine with his drones over here. Doesn't even have enough for another hatchery at the moment. This is going to be the end for Yu-Gi-Oh! This army moving in here. No Banelings to save him this time. GG coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Virus takes the game. You know, I've always thought of Virus as one of those players who isn't terribly good, but he's solid, but is able to win games that you wouldn't expect him to, and that's exactly what we saw in this situation here. I would have expected Yu-Gi-Oh! To be able to defeat him, especially after how he got so stomped in game number 1, but Virus manages to win with a nice all-in game number 2, and in game number 3, just consistently shut down Yu-Gi-Oh!'s expansion attempts. Yu-Gi-Oh! Just could not respond to that, and couldn't get out enough units to push him back. So Virus takes the game, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be going to the up and down matches still, but Virus is going to be playing next week in the 3rd round of Code A for a chance to go directly into Code S. And of course, if Virus loses that match, he will still be in the up and down matches as well. So, well played by Virus. You know, I think I've really got to say, even though Virus won this match, I feel like he's going to have to really step up his game if he's going to defeat whoever he faces next round, because, especially if they're a Zerg, because they're any Zerg better than Yu-Gi-Oh!, who's mediocre versus Terran, is going to own Virus hardcore. He's really going to have to step it up if he's going to succeed in the future. He's been in Codas in the past, but I don't think he's going to make it there if he plays like he did today against Zerg players. Who knows, maybe he'll meet up against some more Protosses. He's much better against Protoss. Anyway, that's going to do it for that match. We are going to have another Protoss versus Protoss coming up next. Brown versus Killer. I'm really excited to see that match actually, because Killer has had really bad luck with PvP. Brown is coming up and comer though, so Killer has more experience. We're going to take a quick break while Brown and Killer get their gear set up, while they get their settings all in order, and we will see you guys in a few minutes for another Protoss versus Protoss here at the GSL Code A.